Good Friday morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rusty 78609, Central Texas, USA, 45 degrees. It's about 8:30, I think. Yep, 8:33 a.m. Central Standard Time. Overcast skies and not a very nice day, but I'm going to go do my walking at the grocery store and upload this video probably, so you'll have it very soon. But what I wanted to talk about while I'm driving here, for all you RVers, for you guys that are thinking about RVing, or maybe some of you that are new to RVing or whatever, whenever I started, and I know this is not relevant to you because you have it, and that's the internet. The internet is a godsend for all you guys for information and watching YouTube videos and stuff that I didn't have in the 1990s when I started my RVing career. And what I wanted to touch on right now is let's just go over some basic stuff. You know what I mean? Like we'll start off with, and this is not going to be an all-inclusive list, but it'll be a start. And for also, that brings up something else. If you think about it and you really want some info, go to my playlists on my homepage, and there's several playlists there for travel trailers, truck camping, car camping, all kind of info there that'll help you, because yeah, you just pick the video you want and watch it. And having said that, we'll move on now to what are the classes of RVs. Well, there's travel trailers, which are sometimes referred to as bumper pulls. I would say those are the most popular. And there's all sizes. There's, you know, anywhere from 800 pounds up to 10,000 pounds and beyond. That's on travel trailers. Okay, bumper pull. You hook it up to your bumper on a hitch and away you go. The next thing is called a fifth wheel, and that's similar to a bumper pull. Only difference is the hitch is in the back of your pickup or your truck or your tow vehicle, which is going to be a truck or has to be. And the hitch that's put in the back of your truck is called a fifth wheel. Why? I don't know. What else? So you got travel trailers, fifth wheels, and then we'll get into the Class A, B, C's, and B+. Class A looks like a school bus. Okay, that's the big old flat nose, flat fronted ones that can range anywhere in price, new from $50,000 to $1 million and more. And then you get to, and it's just a home on wheels. They're fully self-contained and all that, and they can be diesel or gasoline. All of these drivable units can be diesel or gasoline. Then you get to the Class B's, which are basically, if you've seen a van, a delivery van, they've just converted those vans into homes. Basically, they got all the amenities, restrooms, beds, cooking place, and all that stuff. And then you get to the Class C's, which look like they have a pickup front end. You know, they're not flat. And above the cab will be a bed. And then there's a square box in the back that's accessible from the cab, etc. You don't have to get out to go back and cook and all that stuff. That's a Class C. And you can, and another thing, what you can do, and this is the wonders of the internet, all you got to do is just click on, you know, just do a Google search for any of this stuff that I'm going to mention, Class A, B, C, RVs, and you'll see a jillion of them. And then there's a new one they've kind of come out with in the past few years that's a kind of in between a B and a C, called a B+. And it looks like a C, but it's kind of a B, okay? And if that doesn't confuse you, well, I don't know what else will. And then you go on with some more terminology or jargon. It's like anything you get into in life. There's always some jargon related to it. For example, golf. You've got bogeys, eagles, and birdies. Well, when you first start, you don't really know what all of that is, but you learn the hard way. And that's the same way with RVing. And you're going to hear terms like full hookup. Well, a full hookup means you have water, septic, and electric. Okay. There's also a freshwater tank on RVs, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But if you have a full hookup, that is water, electric, and septic. And the electric can be 30 amp or 30 amp or 50 amp, I think is about all they have. Then you get into other stuff like what? Well, let's see, you know, let me add some more. There's also some other types of RVs that I didn't mention. There's pop-ups, and they're kind of like A-liners and stuff. But anyway, we're talking about the RVs now, the full hookup. Well, then full hookups, you don't forget your holding tanks. Well, your holding tanks, you got black water, gray water, and fresh water. All right, well, now that always confused me. You know, the water's not really black and the water's not really gray. The fresh water is, in the freshwater tank, is the water you're going to use for taking a shower, washing dishes, and maybe drinking. I never drink the water out of the freshwater tank. Why? Well, because it's too easy to get bacteria in there, and it's just as easy to buy filtered water, and it doesn't cost much anyway. So whatever you do, if you go to a campground and they only have water and electric, and your tanks, your black water and gray water tanks are full, you got to go to a dump station. Your black water tank is your toilet water, okay? What you flush down the toilet is your black water. What you put down the kitchen sink and the shower is your gray water, okay? And those tanks vary in size anywhere from 10 to 40 gallons and everywhere in between. So what else can I tell you? If you go to camping, you know, once you get the RV and you learn a little bit about it, then you got to learn how to hook it up. In other words, you got to have a hitch. And on the travel trailers, you're going to have a class 1, 2, 3, or 4 class hitch. And they all are suited for different weights. The person that sells you the RV or the RV dealer will tell you all about that stuff. So just be aware of that. Then another thing you'll need to know is the towing capacity of your vehicle if you're going to tow a fifth wheel or a travel trailer. Why? Because that will help you from getting in trouble or damaging your vehicle and or your RV. There's a difference between towing capacity and hauling capacity. The hauling capacity is the amount of stuff you can put in your vehicle and drive off safely with. The towing capacity is the weight of the trailer that you can hook up to your vehicle and tow it away safely. And then hitch, you can get into things that you're going to hear words like sway bar, weight distribution hitch. A sway bar does just what it says. It kind of keeps the trailer from fishtailing, you know, in the high winds and stuff. The dealer will tell you all about it. You can do a Google search. And then the weight distribution hitch, depending on how much your RV weighs, you may or may not need that. I don't use either one of them because I live in a 2019 Casita 17-foot RV that weighs 2,450 pounds, and I do not need the weight distribution hitch or the sway bar. I have used them both before, and I really don't like to because they're a pain sometimes to put on stuff, and I don't like to fool with it. So what else? Let me think here. I'm running through all this terminology, jargon, and stuff. So we talked about full. Oh, okay. We'll talk about full hookups. Let's talk about dry camping. You may hear that phrase every now and then. Dry camping means you don't have any hookups. That means you parked in a Walmart parking lot or somewhere there's no hookups, and you are, quote, dry camping. That is very similar and confused sometimes with boondocking, but boondocking refers more to out in the wilderness type camping where you just go out on Bureau of Land Management, federal government land, public land, and camp for free or very little. Very little. It's very cheap, public lands. And that's also referred to as off-grid. In other words, you are totally self-contained. You're not hooked up to anything. And the way you do that is you move into another thing called solar energy, solar power. And to learn about that and how much you need, you'll have to do a little homework yourself. Because but just remember this, solar does not really power anything. It charges a battery, and then the battery runs whatever. It will run it directly if it's 12 volt, and then it will run it on 120 volt if you connect it to an inverter that converts 12 volt to 120 volt. Is that confusing enough? Well, if it's not, there's more to come. Once you get ready to go camping, there's a lot of options, and we just talked about public lands, Bureau of Land Management, and then there's other stuff. There's you can go to recreation.gov, and that includes every federal thing you can camp at, and you can actually make reservations through that website. Then if you're a cheapie like me, I'm kind of in between, you can go to freecamping.net, and it will show you places you can camp for free. freecamping.net. Put that in your favorites. And then also another one that some people use is called Campendium, C-A-M-P-E-N-D-I-U-M. I'm not sure if that's .com or .org or whatever, but Campendium, you can find it. But yeah, and those are ways to find campsites for free. And once you're out there, again, you'll have full hookups, no hookups, or whatever you happen to run into. But you know, the options are you can stay at state parks, city parks, gosh, all kind of, again, national parks. And if you're going to stay at national parks in the season, which is the summer, then you better have reservations. And even state parks in the quote summer can get busy if there's water there. If there's a lake or a river, it's going to be packed. Okay. And again, the dump stations where you go and dump the tanks, you hook up a hose and drain the tanks there. That's what happens there. And you know, there's other stuff I could touch on, but I think that gives you an overview of some basic stuff. And all I can say is, you know, whenever you get ready to go on a camping trip, you know, as far as planning and all that stuff, you know, you can drive yourself nuts planning and planning and planning and never executing. In other words, never going. You know, go light. I'd say, you know, pack less, because, you know, when I was talking about the dry weight of the RV that you're going to be in, that's one thing. And then the next thing is the gross weight, which means it's the difference between the it's the difference between the dry weight and the maximum that vehicle is designed to carry. And that's usually around 1,000 to 1,500 pounds. Can be more on some of the larger RVs, but on the travel trailers, the mid-sized ones, that's about a good range, maybe 2,000 pounds max. But you know, you think that sounds like a lot. Well, it ain't. Why do I say that? Because if you have let's say you've got a 30-gallon fresh water tank and you fill it up, well, you've added 240 pounds of weight to your RV. What else? Well, let's just say you have a 40-gallon gas tank on your vehicle. Well, you know, you're not adding, realize that's not adding weight to the RV, but 40 gallons of gas weighs about 240 pounds, so you're still having to tow that down the highway. You're still having to move that much weight. But as to the RV, you know, just remember, adding fresh water adds weight to the RV. When you add clothes, actually clothes can be heavy if you add a lot. What else? Canned goods, wow. You know, any containers with fluids, you know, whether it's water or whatever, those are always very heavy. And you know, by the time you get through, if it's 2 people, you're going to find that you're right on that gross vehicle weight limit. And you can go to truck weigh stations and you know, weigh your vehicle before and after to be sure you're okay. But you know, you can use common sense. What I would recommend, if you're just going to be camping in it, take 3 changes of clothes and go. I mean, I live in mine, and that's about all I have. All right. Because I'm not a minimalist. I just don't like to have a lot of stuff around that I'm not going to use. I mean, I don't want to have 20 shirts, okay, when I'm only going to wear 2 or whatever. But anyway, having said that, go light, go minimal, and you'll enjoy your trip more. And also go slow. Don't race to the next campsite. Try to limit your trips to, you know, 4 hours driving time per day is really nice. Because that way you're not worn out when you get to your destination. If you drive 12 hours to your sites, good luck with that. You're not going to enjoy RVing a whole lot because you're not going to look forward to those long drives. Okay, that's a fact. But if you go slow, you'll enjoy the scenery. You'll get better fuel economy. Fuel economy towing an RV ranges anywhere from 6 or 7 miles an hour to 18 to 20, depending. And if you've got a diesel, they get better gas mileage than the gasoline. But you know, there's a trade-off there. It's more expensive to work on a diesel engine than it is a gasoline engine. So you know, you got all kind of things to look into before you pull the trigger and buy whatever you're going to buy. You know what you're getting into. I've got a Ram pickup. It's a 2017. It's a Tradesman. It's a V6 8-speed transmission, 321 rear axle. I tow a 2019 17-foot Casita fiberglass travel trailer. They make them in Rice, Texas. It weighs 2,450 pounds, and I get 17 miles to the gallon, kind of around here. In the mountains, that would drop down to 15, probably, maybe even less, depending. But you know, it's not all uphill in the mountains. Sooner or later, you come down, right? So you get those miles back. So that'll give you an idea. But I don't speed. I usually tow around 55 miles an hour, maybe up to 60 on the interstates, but that's it. And here's something else. A viewer mentioned this in the comment the other day, that for you guys that are towing your RVs on interstates and other highways and driving 75 and 80 miles an hour, you might want to check the ratings on your RV tires, because basically they're speed rated to 65 miles an hour. I believe most of them are. And if you're driving 80 with those tires, well, you know, good luck, because if you have a blowout, you're going to get to see the inside of your RV, because it's going to be all over the highway. Anyway, we're here coming into Marble Falls, Texas. I'll end the video now, but I wanted to give you all that great info because this is the season, guys. A lot of people right now are going out and buying RVs and going to RV shows and stuff. So, you know, learn a little bit before you go. Watch my playlist on my homepage, and you know, kind of educate yourself before you go, and do a lot of Google searches. But anyway, guys, thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, bye-bye, buy anything you want. But if you think about it, use the link to Amazon products in the description of all of my videos. Why? Because I get a small commission, doesn't cost you a penny if you choose to use it. What else? Drink plenty of water. 3 or 4 quarts a day won't hurt you. It's good for you. It'll help you avoid gout, kidney stones, and it'll also help you lose weight because you'll be full of water and you won't want to eat so much. What else? Take deep breaths. Breathe in real deep, hold it for a few seconds, and then breathe out slowly. Why? Because that relieves stress, and relieving stress does what? Lowers your blood pressure. Is that good for you? Hell yes it is. What else? Stretch, stretch, stretch. Walk, you know, exercise your body once or twice a day. Why? Because it's good for you. You'll feel better. What else? Stand guard at the door of your mind. Don't let negative Nancy or negative Ned dump a bunch of crap in your head. You know, the talking heads on TV, radio, wherever. Turn them off. You don't have to listen to that crap. They're not paying you. But, you know, accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, and you'll live a good life, and you'll enjoy your RVing whenever you get out there on the road. Adios, amigos, from Central Texas. Bye-bye.